Noob D Dad here. We are going to talk about session 30 in my son's campaign, where I'm DMing for my son and my friend and a cousin for the Dragon of Icespire Peak, and we are going to Loggers Camp today. Okay, and if you remember, the cousin has turned into a were-rat, and we are 1 day away from the full moon. So we're going to do the Loggers Camp adventure, and then on their way to Falcon's Hunting Lodge is the full moon. But I enjoy running the Loggers Camp because it's a different monster in the Ankeg, and also it's just such a small map, like such. So the players come in this way. You have the hidden Ankegs. Let's see, I think there's two. Yeah, there's three. So if they get close to them, they go off. Actually, if they're within 20 feet of a square, it goes off. And then there's also one hiding in here, and then not Harbinwester. His brother Tybor is hiding in there. And then there's a scary totem in here. Their survival checks on the way to the camp are, the DC is really low, so it's kind of easy for them to travel through there. I don't really rely on that too much. And then I think I moved the boar encounter to the place where they just left, but it's where they like see a boar looking at them, and if they attack it, then it's an anchorite. And I love having the opening move of the anchorite to be to cast a lightning bolt at them. So usually the opening move, they haven't spread themselves out yet and they're in a straight line, so sometimes they can get zapped pretty hard. And when the anchorite is in boar form, the way I like to describe the lightning bolt is that their tusks start having like electricity on them, like going up on their tusks, and then it blasts them out of its face. But as the players explore the camp, I love to describe how it's just totally quiet and there's like a boot on the ground and maybe the fire is like slightly still warm, and I start describing like drag marks in the dirt and blood. And then when they open a tent to investigate, I like to describe like in the middle of the tent, because it's kind of like, I'm thinking it's kind of like a sandy beach on the side of the river. I like to describe in the tent that the sand is like an upside down cone going downwards. So it's like there was a hole that kind of collapsed right there, and then just have there be drag marks going into it. And it just starts freaking people out as they go look in each tent and just see this like upside down conical sand collapsed hole and like blood. And sometimes the tent is like nice and neat, and other times like everything is like tossed around everywhere. But it really starts creeping them out as I describe that. And then I love to do, when they get close to one of the Ankeg things, like talk about the sand like rumbling and then it pops out. I like to describe this thing to these guys as like a giant like armored praying mantis with like spikes and face pincer, and he acid sprays them. So the way that I decide when creatures have two different choices of attack, the way that I decide is that I roll a d6 and I have 1 through 3 be the bite and 4 through 6 be the acid spray. And also if the creature would reasonably target all characters equally, I actually assign all the characters a number and I roll dice as well to see who they attack, because otherwise I think I would just favor people. And I've got really good feedback that they like that it's kind of randomized like that, because then they don't feel like I'm picking on anybody. But when they do the acid attack, I like to have their throat just like swelling, and then they just like blast people with acid. And then obviously I know you have to roll a d6 to see if that recharges or not. And if it hits a 6, then it recharges. And I like to have super gross stuff when creatures die with these guys. So like I had it die and then just like slime out like a maggot. And that's going to turn into another one that of course they just immediately blast. But just to be like gross. And then another one, it was inflating to do an acid blast, and then they killed it. So it dies and it's full. So it's basically like a bomb sitting there. And I can't remember exactly how they killed the last one, but he used like a mage hand or something, and he pushes on the throat. Something happens. Anyway, its head explodes, and I don't know why I decided this, but I decided that out of the body comes like a spider. So like out of the whole of the body, like these like black legs come out, and it just like creeps them out, and so they start blasting it. But it's fun to just have like one encounter turn into another creepier, smaller encounter, just to creep them out. You can tell that I have a pattern where I love creeping them out. So they find the totem in area L2, and they burn it because of course it looks evil and scary. And it says destroying the totem causes any onkegs that haven't attacked yet to lose interest in the camp and burrow away. So instead of having it burrow away, since it's in the cabin, I have it like break through the wall. So they hear it like break through the wall and run away. And so they kind of start shooting it, but I think it actually gets away. So then they go find, what's his name? Was it Tybor Wester in the cabin, and he's hiding, and he's like, I'm not coming out of there. Anyway, and then I can't remember if they have him pee his pants when he's on the other side of the door, and so you see pee on the floor, or when they first encounter him. But either way, the book just says that he needs to be the most cowardly. He needs to make all the most cowardly choices possible, which makes him fun and easy to role play. So they convince him, like, hey, come with us. Like, you can't stay here. And this might just be ridiculous that I did this, but sometimes, like, I like to roll for magic items, like the treasure that they find, but sometimes I like to plant items, and this is a case where just right off the tip of here, I have planted, and this is in both groups. I just decided I wanted to plant this in the river. I planted a full plate mail armor. I think it might even be magic, and then some awesome weapon, like a plus something weapon, and a pearl of power down there. And I just decided that I wanted there to be this just like treasure hoard in the river in case anyone goes to the end of the pier and does detect magic, or if they go in the water or anything. I just decided it's there. No one's found it yet, but that's the case. Lots of times I just roll for items, or the book tells you there's something here. But in that case, I wanted to put something in the river. No one's found it yet, but in my world, it's still sitting there. And I know the DM guide talks about like planting items, and you want to plant more items than they'll find because they're not going to find them all. But this is one that I've planted that no one's found yet, and I just thought it was kind of fun. I should plant some more at like tops of mountains and stuff. Anyway, this has been session 30 for my son's campaign that I am DMing for as a noob, and it was lots of fun. And it was short and easy and fun to describe the creepy places where the loggers camp people have been pulled underground, and now they're on their way to Falcon's camp, but they are going to have a were-rat encounter when their buddy turns into a were-rat on the full moon. So stay tuned for that in the future. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.